It's time for another video. So here's it. My commitment is that these are videos that really anybody could watch. They're asking questions. They are intended to pose a thought and consideration and to question yourself, not because you're coming from a particular point of view, but I don't care which point of view you hold or you're coming from. Um, you should question it from time to time. I'm not saying you should question it like always, oh my goodness, I can't believe this, or that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stop for a moment and when have you taken a point of view and made it an assumption and you haven't really checked it out lately. One of my favorite phrases, whether you're religious or not, um, whether you're spiritual or not, wherever your bent is, a faith untested is no faith at all. Um, that is, by the way, referred to as blind faith. I'm not a big proponent of blind faith, but what can I say? So, I often check out, hey, I've had this point of view for now long. I've kind of taken it for granted. Is it still valid? Does it still pass muster, so to speak? So I'm going to use the truth accuracy thing here. We have a situation where the question of the validity of due process is actually in question. Now, the allowance for due process, the expectation of due process is not in question because it's pretty clear that, if you want accuracy on that, you just read the Constitution. You don't have, and I don't take my word for it. Don't really get accurate about it. Go read the Constitution on that, just so you're clear, and you have a basis for accuracy in external facts, in external documentation. But that said, this isn't questioning whether or not we should or shouldn't have due process. It really is about the nature of it. So I'm going to propose a question to you, and you're not going to get my answer to it because my answer is not relevant. Again, I want to present you with questions that when you do the thinking to get to an answer, not getting the answer, but the thinking to get to an answer, it will exercise your consideration of truth and accuracy and how where you're at in the matter. So there are two worlds that we could live in. And I'm going to use likely true. That is not a phrase I'm terribly fond of, but it actually applies here. So we have 200 or so people, more now, but I'm going to keep it at 200, that have been deported from the United States. They were just deported. There was no due process. Now, it's likely true that at least one, had no business being in this country. At least that one was likely a really bad guy. Like, we don't want him here. Likely true. And simultaneously, it's likely true that at least one of those 200 men deported had no business being on the list. They were contributing. They were here doing the right things. They were here for protection, for asylum. They needed our shelter, so to speak. At least one. Remember, both are true. At least one was a really bad guy that we didn't want here, and I don't know which one. And at least one shouldn't have been on a list, shouldn't have been deported. They were doing the right things. They were contributing to society, and we were being compassionate to them in allowing them to live here. Now, given that scenario, at least one we really want out, and at least one we probably want here. Do you want to live in a world where to expedite that likely true, that one bad guy, expedite that bad guy getting out of the country before he does harm, but sacrifice the one that we probably want here? So do you want to live in a world where we expedite the removal of non-citizens so that the at least one that is a bad guy gets out of here fast? Or do we want to do a measured approach and get to accuracy, or at least court systems and accuracy are a little specious, but at least, by the way, the due process is the process of saying, is this person a gang member? Well, they say there is. Well, this tattoo. Well, let's actually look into it. Let's investigate. Let's question. Remember, faith untested is no faith at all. Let's actually have people present arguments. It's what our courts are designed to do. That's the due process of getting to the truth of the matter. And in courts, truth actually has more relevance than accuracy. Courts are an emotional situation. They are a debate. They are what's proven. They are rules and regulations. There may be accuracy that you can't bring in. So truth is a better phrase to use. So do you want to live in a world where, nope, we want that bad guy out, and we will take the risk. We will take the risk, and people will be sacrificed. Good people may get out of there, but getting those bad people out is too important. Or do you want to live in a world where, we're going to expend the resources to get to the truth of the matter so that we accurately get rid of the bad guy? And it may take a while. We may have to feed the bad guy a while to make sure that everyone being deported really is a bad guy, and the good guys, oops, sorry about that. Which world do you want to live in? It's that simple. The answer to that question, there's no right or wrong answer to that question. But if you're like scratching your head, how do we do this? It's simple. It ends up being very clear, very straightforward. You will live in a world where we will expedite because it's that dangerous, and we're going to break a few eggs. Unfortunately, some people are going to get trampled on. Or do you want to do the work and spend the resources to get to the truth of the matter on each person? Because because you don't know which is the bad guy and which is the good guy. You don't know. We don't know that. I'm just saying at least one. Do you want to do that work? That's a question you should be asking yourself on a regular basis, and it really is the critical question right now. So, and by the way, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I can't say with accuracy which is the right one, but you can, because you're watching the video and you know where you are. So watch for these. If you want questions not to answer, but to walk through the process of answering that will make a difference for you, you keep watching these videos. That's my promise. That I'll get your brain thinking, not the right thoughts, but get it thinking, period. Enjoy.